Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and today I'm going to start the process of dealing with this massive stump. I guess it's not really a stump, it's a cluster of big stumps, with the largest one being this piece over here that up at waist height is 40 inches wide, and down at ground level, because I think of it as a stump grinding guy, down at ground level that's an 8-foot stump. And if you encompass all of what I have to remove here, it's like a 12-foot diameter. And I'm gonna have a big stump removal video where I take all of this out. But today is about salvaging some of this for firewood. So I'm gonna cut all of these tops off. What we have is 4 tree sections that are, smallest one's probably 22-inch diameter up at waist height. And I want to turn as much of that as I can into firewood instead of wasting it. And I happen to have the perfect tool for dealing with giant pieces of firewood. So rather than just going down and cutting this as low as I can because I want to make firewood out of it, I'm going to see how many 16-inch pieces I can get off of each section and mark everything, and then we'll get started cutting. Without forking out in so many directions, it makes it a little bit more complicated, but I got my first couple of cuts marked. We'll get started with that and go from there. I'm definitely gonna come across like a whiner for you guys up north, but this is one of the colder days we've had so far with a high of 28. So I'm used to warmer weather, but we'll get through. So we've cut all the way through this 36 inches wide. I've left about 4 inches of wood right there that is just an outcropping of the roots. And that'll hold the weight up so that the stump's not sitting on the saw. Then I've got wedges around it. So I'll finish cutting all the rest of it, and then I'll cut this little nip off vertically. Alright, so across in this direction, we are 56 inches. The other direction, 41. That is a big son of a gun. You can tell this grew out in the open. These growth rings are really wide. These rings out here are 1/2 inch wide. That's huge. Okay, so I'm still gonna have to cut this up more, but I'm not probably gonna get any more firewood out of it. I might a little bit on this side, but let's go ahead and work on this one for a while. All right, so my paint marks were not straight. I hit that paint mark on the front and this one on the side, and my cut's going way downhill. So I'm gonna come from the other side, and this is gonna be kind of a wonky round. As I was pushing that off, I thought for a second, well, I'll tip that up and show you guys how it's completely hollow from where the bees were in here. It's too heavy for that. Just gonna shove it off. I'm thinking because this is so hollow, I'm going to split this down the center of that hole, and then I won't have to try to fight with cutting all the way across this at once. Man, this is a monster. When you look at it, I'm still not down to where the root flare is, but if you look at what I've got to grind from here, where you've got 9 feet. This right here is 9 feet, but you've got root flare that sticks out past on this side another 2 feet. You've probably got 13 feet of grind area here, which is going to be pretty crazy stump removal. But today's some progress, and the part I'm excited about now is that all of this kind of sucked. And it's cold, it's freezing out here. But now I get to sit in the cab and I'm going to split this up in about 2 minutes. Alright guys, I want to tell you a little story here, and in just a minute I'm going to relate it to this skid steer log splitter. When I was a kid, we were not on a farm, but we had like 3 or 4 acres, and my dad would have somebody else bale the hay on it. And we had a really big yard, and I was responsible for push mowing that yard. I'd never been on a riding lawnmower until I was 15 or 16, and that wasn't ours, that was for someone else. My whole life we push mowed that. Then I bought a pretty big property in town, a corner lot, and I push mowed it for years. And the reason is because my dad would always say that there were a lot of people out there who would either spend a fortune on a riding lawnmower or pay someone to mow their yard, and then pay to go work out in the gym. When if you just mow your yard with a push mower, accomplishes the work and saves you a lot of money. And that was kind of his mindset, that you don't need the fanciest tool, right? But 20 years later, my dad's got a nice zero-turn mower, and I think it'd build a lot of character in me. There's probably 3 or 4 acres here that I mow. Build a lot of character if I mowed all of that acreage with a push mower. If I really wanted to build character, I'd do it on one of those without an engine, the old reel mowers. Just mow the whole thing with that. Build character. But that's the argument I get with this skid steer log splitter. People say, you know, you're being lazy. I could do all that faster with the splitting maul. Well, maybe you can. And that's good. Keeps you in shape, doesn't cost you anything. But I worked pretty hard already today getting that wood into rounds. And my grandkids are here. I've got other things I'd like to be doing. And so the fact I could split this so easy without much effort makes me glad I don't mow my yard with a push mower anymore. So if you happen to be interested in one of these, you can check it out, wolfridge.com. Wolf Ridge is a great company, American-made products. They don't just make skid steer log splitters, they make regular log splitters, tractor mount log splitters, firewood processors, anything you want that handles logs, you can get it from Wolf Ridge. So hopefully you found that story interesting, and I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.